Ciao a tutti, we're day 50 of our wine quarantine and I wanted to celebrate by talking about one of Italy's greatest, Barolo. Barolo is a complex world where geology, history, traditions, vineyards and people have created one of the world's greatest wines. Barolo as a dry wine was born supposedly in the mid-1800s thanks to Giulia Falletti, Marquise of Barolo, that promoted the wines in the aristocratic circles of Torino, as well as introduced them to the Savoy royal family, but also thanks to Camillo Benso, Count of Cavour, a leading figure in Italy's unification and Italy's first prime minister, and also his enologist Paolo Francesco Staglieno. But in order to get to where we are today as a territory, we have to go through a few historical steps. The first delimitation takes place on January 22nd, 1909, although it's a bit superficial, as at that point included the towns of Barolo, La Morra, Perno, Serralunga, Grinsane Cavour, plus parts of Monforte, Verduno, and only a tiny slice of Novello. The next step takes place in September 1927, when the future consortium for the defense of the typical Barolo and Barbaresco wines get approved. At that point, the new and reshaped map of Barolo did not include the entire territory of Novello, the higher part of Barolo with very important vineyards such as Bricco delle Viole and La Volta, a very good part of Monforte, where we find crus such as Ginestra, Mosconi and Ravera was not included, but also the higher part of Verduno and the western slopes of La Morra. As you can understand, the territory was quite different, right? The next step happens in August 1933, when a ministerial decree ratifies major extension to the Barolo production area. At this point, the entire commune of Novello is now included, the whole southern sector of Monforte, with Bricco San Pietro, Ravera and Ginestra is included, the higher parts of Barolo, where we find La Volta and Bricco delle Viole, but also a piece of the western slopes of La Morra, and almost the entire territory of Grinsane Cavour. Legislatively, the production of Barolo wine wasn't strictly enforced, considering that until the beginning of the 1960s, producers could make and bottle Barolo wine with Nebbiolo grown outside the boundaries delimited in 1933. As a matter of fact, lots of fruit from Barbaresco made its way into Barolo wines. The next step takes place in 1966, when most of the remaining territory of La Morra, the upper part of Monvigliero, very important cru in Verduno, and Bricco Ambrogio and the territory of Roddi will be added. At this point, also in 1966, Barolo becomes one of the first DOC delimited wine production area. Lastly, in 1980, the final pieces are added: Bricco Cogni and a tiny piece left of Grinsane Cavour. The overall area today is 7 miles long by about 5 miles wide. As far as vineyards or vineyard plantings, it went from less than 700 hectares in 1967 to over 2,100 hectares as far as of 2016. The 5 villages of Barolo, La Morra, Castiglione Falletto, Serralunga and Monforte d'Alba account for 80% of the production zone, and La Morra having the largest amount of vineyards. So today is part 1 of our 3-day trip through the area of Barolo. Today we talked about how the territory formed, historically speaking. Tomorrow or the next day we're going to go into geology, and then eventually we're going to talk about specifically some of the more important crus and taste some beautiful wines. So for today, in Alto Cuori, ciao, happy day 50!